Well, welcome inside a special late night recording of Instigating with Clarkey and Ryan, brought to you by our friends at Conway Furniture, our friends at Larry Hudson, Chevrolet Buick GMC, and of course, the Listowel Squash Courts. And we are very pleased to be joined. Is this even a surprise? Big Leafs win. We're doing a post-game show. Of course, we've got one of the head scouts and one of the best scouts in junior hockey of the Collingwood Blues, who are champs again. We'll talk about that, obviously, as well. But a diehard Leaf fan, your friendly neighborhood dark guy, Jason Maslakow, on the show. Maz, how we feeling?
How's it going? How are we feeling after that big Leafs win?
That's all I can say.
My bets and both our brackets are looking a little better. That's for sure. I had the Leafs in 6. But hey, it'll go 7. Death, taxes, and Leafs Bruins in game 7. Some things in life never change. And the Leafs are obviously trying to exercise some very lengthy, long-standing demons. The Bruins kind of trying to do the same after what happened to them last year. How you feeling after that big game 6 win? I mean, that was a gutsy performance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to see this team answer the bell and step up, we needed a big game from William Nylander. We needed a big game from Joseph Woll. And we needed a big game from our unsung heroes. You know, Noah Gregor to come in playing his first playoff game ever. He had some meaningful shifts, and it was up and down the lineup. That was a heart gutsy win that the Leafs needed, and it's great to see from this squad that so many people were easy to discount and say they were done after one game.
Yeah, one of our buddies on this show. And I muted him on Facebook right after. Not a chance. Ian Doig put on Facebook after game 1, not a chance. These teams going out in 4. Anyway, you know who I was really impressed with, and I have been the last couple of games, and I mean, probably no doubt in your mind, but Matthew Knies has really stepped up and has been a beast in this series.
Oh, no argument there. I mean, that first William Nylander goal, if it wasn't for that beautiful play by Knies in the neutral zone there to spring, it doesn't happen. This guy has been a catalyst for everything good that's happening with the Leafs right now. And, I'd love to see, maybe him get bumped up to the top power play unit and create a little havoc in front of the net there.
Well, let's dive right into this power play. I mean, I don't want to get into negative stuff right away, but something has to change. What
so
can
bad.
you put? It is terrible. Like 5%. It is unbelievable. It's awful how they're even in this series with 5% is beyond me. But what would you do, Dark Guy?
Well, I'll tell you from what I saw in game 5, having Matthews out of the lineup is never a good thing, but their power play was a little less predictable in game 5, and it actually seemed to give the Bruins a little bit of trouble. While they didn't actually score a goal, they were getting a lot better looks, a lot better chances. So I think it's kind of maybe just a matter of mixing it up a little bit, changing your lines a little bit. You guys have practiced this all year. I get you want to stick with what worked, but sometimes you need to get back to the drawing board. And when things aren't going your way, changing it up is not a bad thing.
They just seem to tighten up. Like, it just seems like as soon as they get the power play, they're squeezing their sticks. I said it to Jason Brooks last week. I would just roll their lines. Like, just roll those 2 lines on the power play. They're creating chances 5-on-5. Just put them out there on a power play. Run the lines. Run, Domi, Bertuzzi, and Marner, and then the Tavares line, and just let them go. Forget loading them up.
Well, maybe not a bad idea considering, without Matthews in the lineup, everybody seems to have turned into Sidney Crosby. I saw a great meme of that. It was a video tribute of all, I think it was Crosby's 1,000th game or whatever the case may have been. Everybody was going out in Crosby jerseys, and it was like, yeah, that's the Leafs without Matthews.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that way. And I'm glad you kind of brought up Matthew Knies, Clarkey, because I think he's been the Leafs' best player in this whole series. And I mean that outside of obviously the heroics in game 5 and of course the plays he made tonight. And you kind of brought it up, Dark Guy, on that first one. How about the play he makes on the second Nylander goal that ends up being the game winner? The Bruins score with 0.1 seconds left and spoils what should be, I'll still consider it a shutout, for Joseph Woll, but it ends up being the game winner. But what a play he makes to charge in there head first, knows he's going to take a hit. He's going to get checked, and he doesn't back down from it, spins and turns his body into contact, makes the play, sees Nylander there, and the finish from Nylander is just cold-blooded assassin stuff. That was unbelievable. What a game from him. But Knies doing the gritty stuff out there that not only it shows up on the score sheet, but he made some huge blocks in this game too. I think Knies has been their heart and soul in terms of that fire and that grit so far, Jason.
Yeah, you can't argue it. I mean, the kid's proven his worth right now. But for me, as much as I want to talk about how good Knies has been this series, this game was up and down the lineup. The performances you got from Joel Edmondson, McCabe, Sam Benoit with some of the hits he was making and just the smart stick plays there. I've said it on social media a few times that this team is built different. They seem to have a little more heart and they're digging down a little deeper. This Maple Leafs team was from a couple of years ago. I don't see them back in the series, but this team, they can do it.
I agree. And I think they've matched them grit wise as well. And Knies has been in the middle of that as well. I loved when Knies went after Pasternak in game 5 and said, come on, let's go. Like, he was laughing at him. He was laughing in his face. And it's good to see the Leafs standing up to them. They took a lot of penalties early in the series, and that cost them. And Bertuzzi and Domi led the way. But boy, they've really clamped down, and they've been giving it right back to Boston step for step, I think, in this series.
Yeah, 100%. And when you're mentioning the penalties, the Leafs, for as much as I complain about the referees, the Leafs definitely got away with a few tonight. Probably got a little bit lucky, but on the other side of that, the refs actually called a good, even game. They let them play. They let both sides play, which has been a problem in the beginning of the series. So yeah. They just got to stick to what's been working, and come game 7, if they have another effort like they did tonight, we might see history from last year repeat itself with Boston losing.
I think we just got Wes McCauley's going to do game 7. Just got that. So get ready. No, I'm kidding.
No, I'm glad you brought that point up as well, Dark Guy, because that's what's now on everyone's minds. Can they pull this off and finally do it? Because if they don't win game 7, this is all going to feel like it was for nothing, because it will have been. They cannot lose game 7. They got it. They cannot hang their hats on going, look how hard we played in game. Because right. Let's be honest, in games 1 and 2, they were literally atrocious. I didn't think there was a good performance from anybody in the lineup. I thought that they were terrible to a man. Now they've gotten the pushback. They won game 2. I thought that they were really bad in game 2, and they were lucky to win that game. But that's neither here nor there. We're doling out opinions here. They were almost worse in game 3, and now they've pushed the tide back. Don't let the dam break now that you've got the dam all boarded up here. Come on. Like, they got to get this done, Jason.
Yeah, no, I agree with the fact that they got to get it done, but I'm feeling very confident going into that game, and I'm willing to bet the Leafs feel pretty confident in that dressing room right now too.
They should.
You talk about game 2. I mean, Matthews had a goal, 2 assists, basically put the team on his back and won that game. Samsonov was absolutely fantastic in game 2. So talking about performances, they at least had 2 guys carry the weight in that game. Kind of leads me to the question I've been seeing on social media recently, or today anyway, is if Matthews is able to go, do you put him in or do you sit him because they're playing so good? And I just think that's an absolutely asinine thought. I mean, yes, the Leafs have played great these last 2 games without Matthews, but if he's good to go, he's got to be in the lineup. We're a better team with him. But I don't know. I'm telling you, this team's built different. I see so many little things that they're doing in the defensive zone, taking hits to make plays.
Mm-hmm.
I even saw William Nylander throw a hit tonight, which was
he did.
He hit Tyler Wotherspoon. That was I couldn't believe it. I was like, look at this guy throwing hip checks.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I don't know. I'm confident. Anything can happen in Game 7, but I believe they are built different. I'll say it a dozen more times. They are built different. I see something different out of the squad.
I think if Willie and Woll had played all 7 games, it would be in a different spot right now. But that's besides the point.
Hold on. You're not going to pin the first couple games on Samsonov.
I didn't.
Yes,
say
I am.
That.
Yes,
I didn't say that he will. I didn't say that. But Woll has stolen 2 games in a row. He really has. Like, yeah, they've been out. They've been shot Boston, but
you can like. I can like both goalies. I think Woll is the goalie of the future, absolutely. But this. Did we not watch the Samsonov stand on his head in Game 2? I mean, even in Game 1, they lost 5-1. You're not going to tell me those goals were his fault.
Yeah, but he was pulled in Game 4, man.
Giveaways right in the slot. Like, I know you need a big save, but Sammy can't stop everything either.
Well, they need a guy to steal some games and stop it.
He can't stop much generally. I just think that he's not an NHL goaltender.
Sorry, Drury. Since his reset, who was one of the best goaltenders in the NHL?
Congratulations on 2 weeks of earning your contract. Congratulations. He is a horrific.
January 15th to the end of the season.
He let in some really bad goals, and he continues to do that. Joseph Woll's not the goalie of the future. He's the goalie of the right now. He is the starting goalie of the Maple Leafs. Ilya Samsonov, barring injury, has played his last game as a Toronto Maple Leaf. He is. Goals he let in Game 1, 2 of them were goals that I'd like a junior B goalie to save. And then his performance in Game 4.
In Game 3.
That one is the worst goal that's gone in all playoff on any goalie. That's the worst goal that's been given up by any goalie. He is not the guy. He never has been. And this is what he does. He'll have little flashes. He has heat flashes where he'll go, oh, look, I can make these diving acrobatic saves. He's not consistent enough. And the goals that he does let in are just back-breaking at times. Joseph Woll tonight. If Ilya Samsonov was in goal tonight, the Leafs are going home. They are packing up U-Hauls, and they are heading to the golf links.
I could say the same in game 5 as well, Ryan. I really do.
I do as well. The amount of soft goals I've watched that guy let in both franchises that he's played for, I think Joseph Woll was a huge turning point. Not early tonight. Jeremy Swayman was standing on his head. The Bruins were getting outshot like 15-1.
They got 1 shot in the first period, and they only had 1 or 2 last game in the first period.
It was shorthanded,
we got to
the
talk
shot
about
they
this
got.
Too. I know.
It was crazy. Anyway, Joseph Woll is the guy, in my opinion, but I mean, like the performances that he put up tonight.
I'm not going to let your Samsonov bashing ruin my night.
Don't let it ruin your night.
No,
that's my
he
point.
Wasn't in net, so let's not worry about Samsonov.
I understand what you're saying. There have been frustrating goals, no matter how much I support Samsonov. The fact of the matter is, you say small flashes. He was a top 5 goaltender in every statistical category last year over the entire course of the season. He defeated Andrei Vasilevsky in the first round of the playoffs. He went down for his reset this year from January 15th to the end of the season. Mind you, 3-4 games at the end of the year. He was once again one of the best goaltenders in the NHL, statistically speaking. I don't know how much more you need to see from him to say that he's more than just a flash in the pan. But
that he wins games that matter.
Like Game 2 of the first round.
I mean, like, I just don't think that the guy is built to be an NHL goaltender that you can rely on. Like, if he's a 1B guy, which is the ceiling for him, I don't want him in my net. That's all I'm saying. I would take 20 goaltenders in the NHL before I put him in my crease.
Yeah, well, I'll say this.
Anyway.
I'll gladly say it on air. At one point in time, I believe I was talking with you guys, and I told you I wouldn't want Connor Hellebuck, and you guys told me I was crazy. And my reasoning was playoff performances. Well, where's Winnipeg right now?
Yeah, his playoffs were bad.
It wasn't good, no question.
His playoffs were very bad.
If you're paying a goalie $8 million or whatever Hellebuck's making right now, you might want to get a save out of him. So
100%.
Happens. Is that going to change anybody's opinion that Hellebuck's one of the best goaltenders on the face of the planet?
I'd still trade Mitch Marner straight up for him. I would.
Look at the conversation we're having right now.
I would trade
the
him.
Leafs won, by the way.
They
everybody.
won. Yes, they won. Where was Mitch?
Anyway,
where was he?
I'm not even going to acknowledge that insanity. How's it going, Drury?
Dude.
It's been good. No, and I don't want to pick a fight with you about Samsonov. I just don't think he's a good goaltender. But anyway, the fact of the matter is this. The Leafs defense in this game, and in game 5 as well, like you brought up a couple of here. Let's turn this back to a positive here, gentlemen.
That's fine, yeah.
Simon Benoit, don't call me Simon, unbelievable performance. Jake McCabe stepping up, scored a goal in game 5. He's been unbelievable. And I agree. I think because it just has to happen that the Leafs are going to win their first game 7 since April 20th, 2004 against the Ottawa Senators 20 years ago. They're going to win. They're beating the Bruins. I think the Bruins are mentally collapsing and they don't have the center, even with Matthews out of the lineup. The Bruins do not have the center depth to ride with the Leafs across 7 games. And I think that's going to be proven in game 7. I just think that, even Tavares stepping up with some big plays. Yeah, he's slow and he can't skate.
Well, he was pretty quick in game 5 in overtime.
What a play he made.
Going into the series, I thought one of the major turning points for the Leafs would be the bottom 6. Now, looking at Boston's lineup, not taking anything away from them, but I don't look at their bottom 6 and get scared. I believe that the bottom 6 for the Leafs match up fairly evenly, if not a little bit better. And I think we're starting to see a little bit of that in the last 2 games. When you mentioned team defense here, this isn't just our back 6. This is a team defense. The guys are buying in on the back check. I can't count how many times I saw Knies be the last man out of the zone and the first man back in the defensive zone. It's just been absolutely phenomenal to watch, and it's been a long time since we've seen this kind of complete performance from the Leafs. It's great to see, finally.
Can we talk a little bit, since we like to always do this and people love to do this with Leafs players, where the hell's David Pastrnak?
Well, before you get into that, I had the pleasure of listening to Boston Sports Radio 20 minutes after this game tonight on my way home. I thought, I'm going to listen to see what they're saying. So, and they're, just so you know, Pasternak's invisible. Marchand's invisible. Charlie McAvoy has been terrible. And Jim Montgomery is playing for his job. If they lose the next game, he's gone. He's lost 7 straight games now where the Bruins, or where his team could
clinch a series
because of his time in Dallas as well. So they are panicking in Boston. And you're right, Pastrnak was the top of their list of guys who have not performed.
Yeah, it's been bad. Jason, what are you seeing out of him? Because, I'm not seeing much. He had one really quality scoring chance in game 6. Other than that, where is 88? Yeah,
I don't want to throw any bad mojo out into the world, right? So, but I can't argue with that. Pastrnak was largely invisible on the ice, and that's a good thing for the Leafs. Marchand maybe did a little bit more tonight. I completely disagree with McAvoy. He was all over the puck, all over the ice, playing big minutes. But as long as Pasternak's not scoring, I'm very happy. And I don't want to say too much anything other than that to Jake.
I agree with you. I wasn't saying it. I was repeating what I heard on Boston radio.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what? It's nice to know that we're not the only fan base and sports media that go hard after their team after every loss.
So
Oh,
it sounds like in my mind, whoever loses the next game will have a new coach next season.
Yeah, that's kind of the general consensus I get. Well, I think everybody kind of knew that and felt that way about Sheldon Keefe going into the series.
Mm-hmm.
But, when the Bruins were sitting pretty up 3-1, people were going, "Oh, here we go. They're going to go." And now all of a sudden they're in literal panic mode here, and they should be. Just quickly too, because I agree. I think that Jim Montgomery, who is a good coach, obviously he'll land somewhere else. Will get another job. But quickly again, and I saw, and I'm sure you guys probably saw it too pregame, the little segment that Christine Simpson did. How about Max Domi, man? Max Domi is a Toronto Maple Leaf, ladies and gentlemen. He's been unbelievable, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things from him tonight was his performance in the faceoff circle. You needed a key win. He was there for you every
And game
time.
5.
I think he was like 7 for 7 or 7 for 8 or something like that. So I mean, when you needed him, he was there. He's been generating chances. He's been excellent on puck retrieval in the offensive zone when the puck's going in the corner. I wish he would have shot that puck in Game 5 instead of looking it off from all the way from center ice. But he's been fantastic, and it's great to see.
I said it in the first part of the year. We cannot judge him or Bertuzzi how they played during the season. They got these guys for the playoffs, and we're seeing right now why. And I hope to hell they can re-sign both of them.
Absolutely.
I don't know how, but they better. They better.
100%. I agree. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, more from Game 6. Big win for the Leafs, setting up a dramatic Game 7. And we'll touch on the rest of the playoffs too, because this first round, outside of a couple instances, it might be one of the most uncompetitive first rounds I've seen in my lifetime. We'll touch on that next here on Instigating. Welcome back to Instigating with Clarkey and Drury, brought to you by Conway Furniture, our friends over at Larry Hudson, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, and of course, Listowel Squash Courts. Still on here with our friendly neighborhood dark guy, Jason Maslakow, as we are breaking down a very dramatic win for the Leafs. Clarkey, what's up?
Well, I just thought of something.
Oh, okay.
And I wanted to talk to Jason about this.
Mm-hmm.
But Jason, with all due respect to your great performance, I am not cheering for another Canadian team if the Leafs lose. I'm not high-fiving a Flames fan or a Canucks fan or an Edmonton fan.
To be fair, Dark Guy doesn't high-five anybody.
No, I know he doesn't, which is perfect. And I love someone tweeted at him saying, "Hey, I hope you're going to sue or whatever." And you're like, "Actually, that's me." In the commercial. I can't remember exactly what the guy said, but you responded by saying, "Actually, it is me."
There's actually about 3 or 4 people that had put that out saying I need to get a lawyer and I should be Boston Pizza there. But no, that was 100% me, and I had a lot of fun with it. But yes, as Jury pointed out, every time somebody goes a high five me or a handshake, it's solid.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're just pasted to the bar with your arms up. I love it.
Exactly.
I've really enjoyed seeing you every 15 minutes on my television during these playoffs, man.
Yeah, there's more to come too. There's a few more different versions we shot that are going to be coming soon.
Okay.
Oh, I love it.
Nice.
Well, and they're going to run a lot more because the Leafs are going to win Game 7, of course, right?
So we're not saying that. Jason and I are not saying that.
Well, but Jason's the positive Leaf fan.
I know,
don't have Ian Doig on here, Clark.
Cautiously optimistic here.
Let's look at it this way, okay? History does have a way of repeating itself. We know this, especially as Leaf fans. And when you actually dive into last year's Boston's 3-1 collapse, when you actually start looking at the scores of the games and the way things are going, it's almost mimicking this Leafs Boston series to a T.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think Boston's primed to go home and choke.
I tell you one thing, if the Leafs are winning 4-1 with 8 minutes left or whatever, 6 minutes, they're not blowing it.
No, they're not. They have a goalie. They have a goalie, Clarkey.
Yeah, James.
It's
Ryan.
not you in net.
Well, I'll tell you this. At no point in time in that 4-1 loss with James Reimer in that did I feel comfortable.
No, I didn't either.
So
exactly. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Hey, do you think the turning point of the series and potentially this cup run was seeing these guys bicker on the bench? Because that was something.
Okay, so here's my take on this. I love seeing some passion from these guys, especially Nylander, Marner.
Yes.
It's nice to know that they care that much, that they're going to get into it. Yeah. I would have preferred not to see Matthew Marner throw his gloves on the ground.
But that's what he is. I'm sorry. That's what he is.
But in the end, it all depends on how they take it. And it appears they took it like big boys, and they figured it out because everybody was laughing on the bench of practice the next day. And you know what? Sometimes it takes one of your peers to call you out to light that fire under your ass. So you know what? This very well could be the turning point, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I think that you know, if the Leafs go on a run here and win the cup, say, I can't wait to watch the DVD, because that will be a funny moment that gets brought up, you know, during the little championship DVD that everybody gets. People forget too, like, this isn't bizarre or like out of nowhere. Like the back-to-back Penguins runs, go back and watch some of the video of Phil Kessel and Evgeny Malkin. Almost every shift they left the ice, they were screaming at each other. It was ridiculous.
No, I
they
think
won back-to-back cups. It worked out okay for them. And speaking, go ahead, Dark Eye.
As much as I do like to defend and support Samsonov, you know what, Game 5, Joseph Woll. Game 6, Joseph Woll. That might end up being a big turning point in this playoff series as well.
Yeah,
I think so too.
Sure.
Joseph Woll now 3-1 with a .956 save percentage in his young playoff career. Very impressive stuff. Oh, by the way, a 186 goals against as well. Speaking of other teams, though, I mentioned it before the break. What if you made of some of the rest of this first round? Because outside of Dallas, Vegas, and how about the Stars screaming back with 3 straight on the Cup champs as we record this? Outside of that, like, has this been the most uncompetitive first round that you've seen in a while, Dark Eye? Like, it feels like some of these series have just been like, one of the teams just rolled over.
Yeah, I mean, every year going into the first round, you can always bank on one or two underdogs rising to the top. And when I say underdogs, I'm talking about 7-8 seeds here. We really haven't seen a whole lot of that this year, and some of the series have been a little bit more than predictable. The only one that I'm actually shocked about is I can't believe that the Vancouver Nashville series is 3-2. I figured that would have been done already. So yeah, it's leaving it to the Leafs to write the story of the big upset for the first round, I guess.
Well, Colorado.
Yeah. I don't think that was an upset by any means.
Yeah,
the way they handled them, I think it was.
So the way
I know you're Hellebuck.
All Colorado needed, in my opinion, I did an interview before the playoffs started. They needed mediocre to average goaltending, and they were going to win that series. They have way too much firepower, and that's exactly what they did.
Man, and yeah, show producer Adams boys a little more respect. Like, I think that no one would have been shocked if Winnipeg won based on how they played this year. But man, that Colorado
Winnipeg,
team.
didn't you?
I did. No, I picked Colorado.
Oh, did you?
I picked Colorado in 7. And they got it done a little quicker than that because Nate Dogg just... Man, is there anybody more fun to watch when they get like... And you know what I mean by this, Dark Guy. Is there anybody more fun to watch skate with a puck when they're pissed off than Nate Dogg McKinnon?
No, I know exactly what you mean, and it's kind of something I've said about Matthews. He doesn't need any tips from me, especially after hammering home 69 goals this year. But I've always said that the minute Matthews realizes that he's big enough to skate right through people, instead of always, trying to go around or dishing the puck off, that he's capable of so much more. And that's exactly what you see from McKinnon every once in a while, is that when he just gets that fire under him, there's no stopping him.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. And yeah, my cup pick this year, Dallas, they scared me a little bit. The old LTIR Vegas Knights coming back and giving us a little scare, but now Dallas screaming back the other way. And I mean, the second round is where I think a lot of bread and butter is going to get spread here, Dark Guy. I mean, I don't know about you. Obviously, we want to see the Leafs win Game 7 and try and take down another demon in Florida after what Florida did to them last year, obviously. But I'm really excited for Carolina, New York.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolutely hard-fought series, and the way New York's been playing heading into the playoffs, and it's going to be a phenomenal series. And their proximity to each other, that's probably going to be one that gets a little hot under the collar.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Clarkey, go ahead.
Yeah, I know. I'm just curious. Well, a couple of things stick out to me in this series, and one is the whining from the New York media, Larry Brooks in particular, talking about, we shouldn't be playing Carolina. How many times has the Leafs said that and nothing? You know what I mean. So I do believe the league has to go back to a 1-8 format. But and the other thing is, there's a lot of talk about Rod Brind'Amour and coming back to Carolina and so on and so forth. And it's just,
isn't that embarrassing?
They don't need that distraction right now.
How is he not signed immediately, Dark Guy? Like, imagine that. Like, how can you have a guy that many think is the best coach in the league? Yeah. He's certainly been one of the best things to happen to that franchise, not only as a player, lifted a cup, but he completely changed. Keep in mind, when he took that program in Carolina over, they were a mess. And he completely has changed their culture. They're a cup contender every single year now. He's getting paid pennies compared to his peers. And the owner down there, like, I think Kevin Weeks said on Overdrive that Carolina's franchise value has appreciated 59% since Tom Dundon bought it. I'm ready to start calling this guy Tom Dudden. Drop the N, Dud. This guy can't let Rod the Bod walk. How's this contract not signed right now, Dark Guy?
It's a little perplexing to try to figure out what the line of thinking would be going into the playoffs and not having that security there. But all I know is this: regardless of what were to happen this season, Toronto could hoist the cup, and if Rod Brind'Amour is available, you go get him. So that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, well, that's why I sort of brought it up. I don't know if they hoist the cup, if that would happen, but boy, oh boy, he would be on the top of my list if they do go out early.
Could you imagine? Yeah, and they were, and the Leafs. I'll say this, and I said this to a buddy of mine that asked me about that too. God bless air traffic controllers if Rod Brind'Amour walks the free agent, because there will be 29 private jets in the air flying to his house to try and get him to sign with their team. It would be unbelievable. Like,
but no one could match the Leafs money, right? No one can. Match the Leafs money, so.
There's very few that could. But the ones that would be.
Rangers,
they would be at
they're not changing coaches.
No, they'd be at the front of the list, though. Dark Guy, I want quickly, before we touch on something real special for you and your boys in Collingwood, I just want to do a little prediction here. How do we see Game 7 going? Give me the narrative. Give me a final score and a hero of the night. Go ahead.
Well, the Leafs have looked fairly comfortable in the last two games in that very tight checking, keeping the score down. I think you're going to see the Leafs try to go with that exact same game plan. So I believe you're going to see a very tight checked contested game. I believe it's going to be another 2-1, 1-0 style game. And by all means, it's going to be the Leafs coming out on top. And I'm going with an unsung hero because he's been getting his chances and he's due. Nick Robertson. Nick Robertson's coming up with a big goal in Game 7.
I like that. Clarkey.
I have not predicted the last 2 games. People have asked me at work what I think.
You can abstain if you're superstitious.
I am.
Okay.
I've worn my instigating shirt the last 2 games. No Leaf paraphernalia whatsoever. Don't judge me for saying Leafs won. They were losing when I kept wearing a sweater. I wore a sweater, lose. So I said, okay, I'm not putting on a sweater. I'm not wearing my Leaf socks. I'm not wearing my Leaf hat. The last 2 games, this is what I've worn, and I'm wearing it again Saturday night.
Okay, you do that, but here's the thing. You always have Leaf paraphernalia on.
I know I
deep,
do.
Brother. You got the tattoo.
Oh, yeah, we can't change that. So does Jason. We both do.
Yeah,
we're good.
That's the tattoo, so you've got paraphernalia on. Let me tell you what I think's going to happen.
Sure.
And this may shock some people. And I'm not just saying this to be like a contrarian. I truly, really believe this. I see this in my heart.
Yeah.
I think the Leafs are going to win 4-1. And I think Max Domi's going to have 3 points, and he's going to have the game-winning goal. Thank you very much.
I'll take it.
I really do. And I'm not just saying that to be like, oh, I'm going to say it, and then really,
I love
Bruins
those guys'
games,
man.
No.
I love that. I love Domi and Bertuzzi's game.
He's
and
been
as
electric.
Jason said, they're built differently, and those 2 guys lead the way.
100%.
Really
That's what we think. Well, that's what Jason and I think. Clarkey's like Michael Scott. He's not superstitious. He's just a little stitious. All right. So that's what we're gonna go with.
There's no doubt about that.
Jason, well, you're a little something. Jason, before we let you go, what an accomplishment. It's hanging up behind you there. The Collingwood Blues, man, what a force in Tier 2 Junior A, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very proud of what's going on over there. Back-to-back OJHL Buckland Cup champions. It's been quite a long time since a team has pulled off that feat in our league. Finishing the season ranked the number 1 team in all of Canada in the Junior A ranks. Can't say enough good things about the squad we got there, the management staff, the ownership staff, coaching staff. It's great to be part of, and we're very happy with the 2 Buckland Cups, but our eyes are on the big prize now. We won a national title, so we're going to be gunning for that in Oakville starting May 9th.
Wow. Absolutely, man. Well, best of luck. We're going to be cheering for you guys, and if you pull it off, we would love to have you back on to talk about that. And obviously, they got a pretty good scouting staff as well over there, sir. So congratulations, tip of the cap to you guys. Dark Guy, thanks so much for doing this, brother. Come on, Leafs, Game 7. We're going. Let's go.
Hi, guys. Go, Leafs, go.
8 o'clock Saturday night.
Let's go. Come on, Leafs. Don't do this to us again. Let's go. All right. When we come back, Clarkey and I have to discuss a bit more of a sad storyline. Really what it is an embarrassing storyline. And that is what is developing so far with the Toronto Blue Jays, because it's quite the opposite of what's going on right now with the Leafs. Polar opposites, if you will. Winter's over, Jays. Come on. It's time to wake up. We'll talk about that next here on Instigating. Wrapping things up this week on Instigating with Clarkey and Drury, brought to you by our friends at Conway Furniture, Highway 86, east end of Listowel. Our friends over at Larry Hudson Chevrolet Buick GMC. The deals are hot over there, by the way. There's always something good going on at Larry Hudson's. Of course, our friends at the Listowel Squash Court. Speaking of Larry Hudson's, real quick, Clarkey, what's going on over there? It's a new month. What's up?
Month. Well, I don't know if people have noticed, there's a little construction going on at Larry Hudson's right now. We're expanding the showroom. We got a little tour of the new facility today. It's going to be ready in late summer. So that's exciting news. More truck deals. We got some demos that we're clearing out, some trucks. Costco truck discount right now. Things are moving. And it's great to see. Captain Kirk was in again today, my fellow Montreal Canadian fan, not fellow, and he said, is Drury still crying for the Capitals? Whatever. And then he just said, please end my misery tonight and lose. Well, we didn't lose tonight. The Leafs didn't lose. So Captain Kirk a customer at Larry Hudson's is not going to be happy with the Leaf victory tonight. I said, "You're a Habs fan. You got to hate the Bruins." He goes, "Yeah, but I hate the Leafs more." So
That's strange to me. I will say this. What's he picking at me for? Like I didn't
it's just
do
your
anything
caps.
wrong.
Your caps. That's all. Your caps didn't win anything.
Yeah, they didn't. Well, they did though. Like
Well, the Leafs have won 13 of those too. Anyway, so that's what's going on at Larry Hudson's right now. So come on down and say hi.
Come on down. Look, okay, I don't mean to change the subject here and get all negative, and don't worry, like, you know, we'll do it. We'll try and bring this back around to a positive if we can at some point, but we got to address what's going on, or really what's not going on with the Toronto Blue Jays right now, man. I'm near a point, and I'm full Cubs Nation now. Fly the W. By the way, first place. The first place Chicago Cubs.
The first. Okay, go ahead.
First place Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, good.
Leading surprise,
the division. Surprise. You picked a first place team. Okay.
Don't do that now. They waited 108 years, okay? Now listen. First place also, by the way, with no Cody Bellinger and no Seiya Suzuki. How about that? I want to touch on someone from there too when we get to the couch potato segment briefly, but the Jays. I love Justin Turner. I'm a big Justin Turner fan. You cannot, with this team, have a 39-year-old be the best hitter and overall player on the team. I can't do it anymore, dude. And I don't know if you saw Chris Bassett's comments the other day after the loss to Kansas City. I heard them. I think there might be a mass exodus pretty soon where some of these pitchers that are getting abused by this hitting lineup are just going to start going to Ross. Look, you got to get me out of here. I need to go somewhere where people can hit and put up 3 runs. 3 runs. Can we get 3 runs, please? Like on occasion, maybe 3 runs, you know? God forbid we ask for 4. I'm embarrassed by what's going on there, dude. It is so hard to watch these guys waving at sliders 3 feet off the plate, it feels like. Bo Bichette, let me run this down for you. The Jays, in every major offensive, meaningful batting category, as we record this, are in the bottom 3 or the very bottom of all those statistical categories. Team OBP, BABIP, batter WAR. Dig out any fancy analytic you want, Clarkey. George Springer, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette. That's your top 3 hitters. They're all hitting under 220. Vladdy's hitting 212. They all have an OPS under 700. This is... Vladimir Guerrero Jr. went to arbitration and got the richest single-year arbitration award in Major League Baseball history. I don't think he's going to be a Blue Jay for much longer. What is happening here?
Dude.
And we're watching Clarkey. I'll say this right now, and this sounds dire, and if he turns back into an all-star MVP caliber player, I will happily eat my words. I'll eat this Chicago Cubs hat right off my head. I think we might be watching the downslide of one of the biggest what-ifs and busts in Major League Baseball history with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. right now, if this trend continues.
That's quite the statement. Brother, don't worry.
Don't do this.
We will be better. We'll get better.
Yeah.
That's what the manager told us.
Are you? Yeah, I was going to say you're role playing as John Schneider right now.
We'll be better.
Yeah. If we could steal the role play level of concern from TSN, yeah.
What shows me they're going to get better?
They've gotten worse from the first few weeks.
Yeah. And it's lucky they have any sense of pitching, which they have a really good staff, or they would be buried in the basement. Like, not even close. Like, they're in, 4th out of 5th now, 2 games below 500. But
I was watching Blair and Barker the other day after the latest loss, the 6-1 loss to Kansas City. And they were throwing around a lot of different ideas in terms of potentially, because what's obvious here is that this team needs help offensively.
Mm-hmm.
Do you parlay some of your pitching prowess to try and address that? And they brought up Yusei Kikuchi, who is a guy that you could absolutely sell high on right now.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what they'll do? I tell you what they'll do.
Please.
They'll trade Manoah. And Manoah will go somewhere and win every game the rest of the season.
12 Ks in Buffalo the other day, a career high in professional ball for Manoah.
And the reason I say that, Ryan, is because I just, again, have no faith in Ross Atkins. None at all. None. And like I'm just going to do a little shout out to our buddy, the general manager of the Listowel Cyclones, who's done a tremendous job.
Yeah,
Trent tells me every day that the Jays are going to be fine. Their pitching will hold them in, and they're going to compete for the pennant at the end of the day. I don't believe it. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna have a conversation with Trent when I see him throughout the Sutherland Cup final. Let's change topics. The Jay, I can't do it.
No, it's not worth it.
Let's quickly change
honestly, I've tuned them out. Like I'm in playoff mode here. I'm in Leafs mode. They're lucky, and they're lucky that the Leafs are doing this to sort of take the attention away from what's happening on the field at the Skydome.
Well, the crowds there at the fancy, newly renovated Skydome might look pretty sparse in July. Let me tell you, because
that would be a shame.
People want to see action. People want to see good ball.
Yeah,
and they can't produce it.
Anyway, but they can see it better from their seats now.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to quickly point out as well that I'm glad you brought up Trent McClement, because the Listowel Cyclones into the Sutherland Cup.
Yeah, he's done a tremendous job.
Taking on the St. Mary's Lincolns, of course, every single second of action in the Sutherland Cup final. You will be able to hear it on CKNX, our friends over there. I'll be calling some of the games.
Yes, you will.
And that's because the Hanover Barons just keep on rolling as well. Tied up now as we record this on Thursday, May 2nd, with the Clarington Eagles. What a battle that's been in the Schmaltz Cup semi-final. Of course, in Hamburg Lakeshore on the other side of it. But the Barons...
Producer Adam must be in cloud nine, right? Producer Adam must be cloud nine. His Avs won. His Barons are winning. Oh my gosh.
It's an incredible time to be producer Adam. Let's just say that. And I'll say this as well.
Producer of the year right there.
I'll say this too. Keep in mind, and Steve and I were discussing this the other day, it's not very often that we've seen a team within our region in the PJHL, the old Western Junior C, like all back through history, win the Schmaltz Cup. As a matter of fact, only one team's ever done it. And it was the Hanover Barons in 1991, ladies and gentlemen, the year of my birth. What a good year that was. The Barons won the Schmaltz Cup. I was born. Nirvana. Wow. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, I just want everyone to be aware that you can listen to every single second of action. We've got you covered at CKNX Junior Hockey. All of it is covered. Steve Saber and Johnny K, myself, Scott Bridge jumping back into the fray with me, calling Cyclones games.
Bridgie's
all
back.
of it. Every single game is taken care of. You can find it and follow us on CKNX Junior Hockey. That's where you can find all the details for where the games will be played, because there's a lot of double header action jumping around on Cool 94.5. Follow us on Twitter. I'll be posting on my socials as well, everywhere that you can hear every single second of Barons and Cyclones. How about that? Clarkey, listen, it's a fun time. It's a fun time right now because, listen, last week, as we transition into our favorite segment, this is the Couch Potato of the Week, brought to you by our friends at Conway Furniture. That's Highway 86, east end of Listowel.
Hold it. Phil Main.
Conway Furniture, Highway 86, just east of Listowel.
Thank you, Phil. Yes, that's where you can find our friends at Conway Furniture. That's Producer Adam, right on that. Listen, when you go see our friends at Conway Furniture, When you go in there and you think, look, I watch instigating. I want to be part of the couch potato movement. I would like to get a new sofa, a new love seat, something nice for the house. Doesn't have to be a couch. They got all kinds of stuff in there, dude. Flooring, dude, lamps. They got everything in there, man. You go in there, you get yourself a nice treat for the house. The price you see includes HST and delivery. How can it get better than that? Okay, it doesn't. And that's why you go and see our friends at Conway Furniture. Listen, Clarkey, before I point out, I'd like I usually let you go first, but really quick.
Yeah.
I have two positives here, and one I'll highlight quickly. It's been a fun first week for me as a Chicago Cubs fan.
Oh, God.
And that's because of a young man.
Well, yeah, you picked your team and they're in first place. Good.
They weren't when I picked them. I will say it's because of a young man named Shota Imanaga, the Japanese import pitcher that they signed to big money in the offseason. He has become the first pitcher to have a 4-0 record after his first 6 career starts, have 4 quality starts, and have a sub-1 ERA since 1908, ladies and gentlemen. Shota Imanaga has a .78 ERA and is dealing. I tuned in on Wednesday and watched him slice apart the New York Mets. This guy is must-watch television. He's the latest hot thing in pitching. And if you want to see somebody dealing, go check this guy out, the splitter, lethality. But that's not my couch potato. He would be if not for something that occurred in the Arizona Diamondbacks game the other day against the LA Dodgers.
Yeah.
Producer Adam put this up. This is absolutely incredible. A giant beehive colony was forming on the protective netting behind home plate, and they had to delay the game. The game was delayed by like 45 minutes. They had to call a gentleman in who's gone viral. This is local beekeeper Matt Hilton of Blue Sky Pest Control. There's a plug for them. Send us a check. This guy's gone viral. He comes in, gets rid of the bees, saves the game. They ask him to throw out the ceremonial first pitch.
Stupid.
This guy's everywhere. And on top of that, Clarkey, he signed a deal with Topps, I believe it was. Might have been Upper Deck. For a card. He's got a card deal, and they're going to sell autographed cards of Matt Hilton, the beekeeper. And if I could quickly do my bad Jason Statham impression, thumbs up to the beekeeper. There you go. How about that? The beekeeper.
Like it.
It's
the beekeeper.
Couch potato of the week. Unbelievable story, Clarkey. What do you got for us here?
Well, I've been struggling which way to go, and I got to go. I have been struggling. And I was going to give the couch potato to both my couch potato thoughts this week were positive. Okay.
I like that.
And the second one just came to me in the last hour. Okay. But a big shout out, and I had already sent this to Adam when actually you mentioned it a day later. But congratulations to Rod Black and Tyler Black. Rod calling that single after he doubled earlier in the game was just unbelievable. And we're going to get Rod back on at some point and talk about Tyler, his kid. But Rod Black, obviously a very famous sportscaster here in Canada for many years, a friend of this show, and great job his son Tyler Black playing for the Milwaukee Brewers. So that was one of them. But I'm going with a guy who just seemed like he was sitting on his couch tonight and was in total control.
Yeah.
And nothing was getting by him. There was no chips falling down through the cushions. There was nothing. There was no peanuts even going down through the cushions. Joseph Woll, you are my couch potato, and please, at least one more game and then next series. But Joe Woll, and with all due respect to Dart Guy, they're not there with Sammy, and I honestly believe the series would have been over. At least would have won it if Woll had played earlier. I really do. And like, he can say what he wants, and I'll give him that. And I do too. His respect, but
We love Dark Guy.
We
How
love
can you not
Dark Guy, but
By
he's
the way,
hooked on liking this guy. He's
By
hooked
the
on
way-
it. He doesn't want to ever let it go.
I know.
The problem. That's the problem.
We all have a player like that you cling to, and you're like, no, I love this guy. A guy for me that was like that was Mike Green.
Yeah.
Like people would crap on Mike Green, and I'd be like, God, I love him though. He scored 30 goals. Mike Green.
Yeah, I
love Mike Green.
I liked him.
Fernando Torres, one of my favorite soccer players, and the guy just got crapped on at Chelsea. Loved the guy. Everyone hated him. You know, we all have a guy that we can't let go of for one reason or another. We're just attached to them. It just is the way it is, man. But I want to say as well, a very special Couch Potato joint shout out to our friend Dark Guy, because he stayed up to record this past midnight.
It's 12:20 right now.
Thursday night into Friday morning.
And I have to be at work at 8:30 tomorrow morning. So I better get to bed.
Do you know what Dark Guy's alarm was set for? 4. Oh. He stayed up. He's going to get less than 4 hours sleep.
Wow.
And he stayed up to do the show with us. Dark Guy.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dark Guy. He's always a couch potato on the show.
Even our producer didn't show up tonight. He didn't.
Our producer. Yeah. So
I'm kidding, Adam. I'm kidding.
You didn't have to tell anybody that. Producer
I
Adam
know.
is always.
I know.
Producer Adam's omnipresent. Yeah. He is always here.
That's
okay.
Right. No,
and
that wasn't. You edit that out, Adam. Edit that out.
No, and keep it in, because if he would have like some smart comment about like Nate McKinnon always being there too. Omnipresent. You like that? It's a good word. I don't get to use that much. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Really quick.
Yeah, really quick.
Really quick as well. Just keep in mind, again, I want to remind everybody, follow us on CKNX Junior Hockey for all the details on the Cyclones, the Barons, as they both continue to play. Exciting times here in Perth County. First time ever, the Lincolns and the Cyclones. How about that? How cool is this for Perth County hockey to be facing off in the Southern Cup final?
Cool.
We will have every second of it on CKNX. How about that?
Do me a favor. Just if Ian puts anything on Facebook, just let me know after the series, because I as I said, I did the 30-day mute after his first game. And I talked to Doigie a couple times on the phone, and you know what? Nothing about the Maple Leafs. We didn't even discuss it. I'm not talking to him about it. If you bail on supposedly your team after one game, saying they have no chance, and then the second game, he's like, "Oh, I was surprised that they won this second game." And then he was off the rockers the next couple of games. I'm assuming, but I muted him, so I don't see what he's saying.
He's been put through a lot of pain, all right, and
I haven't.
Clarkey, listen, you know God, this.
Come on,
hurt people, man. That's what happens. Okay,
yeah.
So there will be a reconciling at some point.
No, but that's not a true fan. It's not a true fan. He talked about his chair being down on Yonge Street for the parade. No, it's been taken over by a true fan, Chuggy.
Well, I won't dispute that Chuggy is a little bit more, passionate.
You just don't
we might have to have both them on at some point in the second round, okay? Because the Leafs are going to the second round.
They're frustrating. I get it, and they didn't play well game one. But boy,
what's not frustrating?
Well, they had a chance. You saying there's a chance? Yes.
Hey, Lloyd Christmas, come on, give it to us. You're telling me there's a chance. Now, you know what's not frustrating? The fact that you can watch the show Friday nights at 8 and Sunday nights at 9 with our friends on Whiteman TV. That's channel 6 for Whiteman subscribers. Also, we debut on our YouTube channel Friday nights at 9. Follow us on social media at Instigating Pod. Find the podcast version on all your favorite podcast apps. Thank you very much to Jason Maslakow, a.k.a. Dark Guy. Thanks to our friends at Conway Furniture, Larry Hudson, Chevrolet Buick GMC, the Listowel Squash Courts. That's Clarkey. I'm Drury. Come on, Leafs. Don't do this again. You're going to round 2. You heard it here first.